Yes, hi everyone. So I'm Sophie. I am a to be junior at Yale, and I'm studying global affairs. So nothing too tech related, but I have the advantage of having to use computers and so figuring all that out. So I'm excited to share it with you, and I'm very excited to be with you guys today. And anything else about me, I have very cute dachshund that I don't know. I know there's not too many.
And you're a former Montclair resident.
And I'm a former Montclair resident and a friend of Michelle's, and yes, I love Montclair. So you all have a special place in my heart as fellow Montclairians. So, anyways, all right. So we can get started then, and I will go through. If there's a question, you can ask it either at the end of the whole thing or at the end of each module, and just let me know. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to do browser skills. We're just going to discuss starting out sort of more simple stuff that it's not so hard to do, but you might not know that it's possible to do it. So we're going to start out with just the most simple thing. But before we do that, I'm just going to give a preview of the agenda for today. So we're going to have a lesson on how to do an advanced browser search. That's a search where you are not just putting something in Google, but you're narrowing your results down prior to even doing the search. How to change your homepage, how to bookmark a tab, how to look through your search history. And then after we finish with that, if there's something that you want to go over, we can do that. But prior to that, I would love to get to know you guys. So just really quickly, since this is our first class, if you could go around and say in maybe 30 seconds or less, just quickly your name and what you hope to learn or get better at. And then also it would be helpful to me if you could just let me know what device you're using, because that's going to inform how I can help you and sort of what advice I'll give you. So anyways, we can start with that. I don't know if you guys, we just want to go around and
Sophie, if you want to take your screen off for a second, and then we could just kind of put it on, put it on gallery view maybe, and then just kind of go around, like ask Frances to unmute herself, and then ask Cynthia, and you could just call on each person.
Absolutely. Okay, why don't we start with Barbara?
Okay. Okay, my name is Barbara Miller. I use a computer, an Acer computer, and I'd like to get better on it. And also get better on my cell phone. Anything you can teach me, I greatly appreciate.
Okay, how about Frances?
Hi, I use a PC and an iPad and a cell phone, Apple. I basically use it a fair amount, but I think I don't know some of the real basics. As you said, change the home page, do the browser a different way. I think sometimes we learn a little bit, but then we don't have any manual to get us to the little tricks, and that's what I'm hoping you'll give it to us.
Cynthia?
Hi, my name is Cynthia Kestenbaum. I have a PC, and I have a Google phone, and I use an iPad. And I have a rudimentary knowledge. I use it all the time, but I don't know about, like, we make bookmarks to make folders. I want a little bit more knowledge of, I know the basics. I need like basics plus what I'm looking for.
Absolutely. Okay, and then how about Ricky? I might have said your name wrong. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong. Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you. I'll ask you to unmute.
Okay, here we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you
now.
Yep.
You can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I am also working on Apple Mac books. I have the iPad, I have the iPhone, and I have a desktop computer. And I have trouble sometimes sending documents out to others who use Microsoft. And we have problems with the transfer back and forth, both in PowerPoint and Keynote and in regular documents and so forth. And, I'm trying to use PDF, but that doesn't always work. So that is my problem.
Okay, great. And then Jennifer? Jennifer, sorry, you're muted. I'll ask.
Okay, here I am. Jennifer, my problem is always searching for stuff on the internet and always having to scroll through a lot of things before getting something simple like where's Best Buy, you know. Everything else shows up and that's always frustrating to me.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Why don't we go to Marilyn?
Hi, I'm going among 4 different Apple products, and I find I know how to do certain things on certain devices and I don't know how to do it on the others. So I guess it would be, I just got an iPad and I'm just learning. I know I need to do a lot more research, but you know, I have favorite things on this device and favorite things on that device. So it gets a little crazy. Thanks.
Absolutely. Marion.
Hi, I have a PC and I'd like to learn how to group things together, like recipes or things about trips I've gone on, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I have to leave in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So is there a way, I didn't hear in the beginning, I have to go to a wake. In the beginning, can I catch this some other time?
We're going to send you, if you want, I could send this whole presentation. We can send it, Sophie's going to share the presentation with you so you can watch it at your leisure. It'll also be, the whole thing will be recorded as well.
Thanks so much. Bye.
And I'm realizing our group has got a little bit bigger since we started this. So I want to make sure we have time to get through everyone. So what I'll say is, it's been very helpful to hear this. I think the big thing, we're going to go through any questions you have. If you didn't get the chance to talk, you'll get a chance to ask me, so don't worry about it. But if you could just, everyone who has their video on, or if you could use if you know how to use the little emoji reactions, you can see there's a place where you can just put a reaction. Can you just tell me who here has a PC and who here has a Mac, just so I can know sort of what the differentiation.
Also, if you want me to just put a poll, I could just put a poll out there.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, do that as well. That would be great. Yeah.
So you want to know who's got a Mac and who's got a PC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so that can guide me in terms of how I'm showing sort of the skills, because they're gonna look, your screen will look a little different, and the software is obviously different from Microsoft to Apple. Yeah. But okay, so that would be great. Yeah, the poll. Okay, and while you do that, I'm going to share my screen again. Thank you to everyone who did get a chance to speak. I'm looking forward to hearing from the rest of you soon. In the meantime, now that we've talked a little bit about that, we'll get started on our first module. This is a survey about what browser you use, but I'll know once we do that survey, so that will be good. All right, so our first skill today is going to be doing an advanced browser search. So like I said, many of you, I'm sure maybe all of you, some of you have the ability to go onto Google and type something in, but that doesn't always mean you're going to find what you're looking for. And there's ways to make your life easier and to find exactly what you're looking for much faster. And we're going to talk about how to do that. So first things first, one of the simplest ways you can narrow down your search is by filtering your results by type. So there's books, videos, images, maps, news, shopping. I'm going to show you how this works. You can also filter your results by date. So let's say you wanted to find a specific news article, maybe a news article from way back in, I don't know, 2010 or something. Maybe your grandchild was in the newspaper and you want to find that. Well, you can change the dates on your search so that only articles from 2010 come up when you type in what you're looking for. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, this is good to know. I'm seeing this poll as well. Looks like it's about 37% with Mac and PC. Some of us might have both. Okay. All right. So anyways, we'll get to this now. How do you do a web search? So let's say you want to look for the Montclair Public Library. Now you might be looking up the Montclair Public Library for a few different reasons, right? You might be looking it up to get to the website, in which case just typing in Montclair Public Library is fine. You'll get there and you know, just click the website and that'll be okay. But let's say you actually are looking for a news story on the Montclair Public Library, maybe something that you saw that you want to read about. In that case, you might not find it right away just going to the regular search. So what you're going to do instead is you're going to go up here underneath the search bar, and you're going to click news. So let me show you this in live. I'm going to exit out of this presentation for a little bit, and we're actually going to go. You can see that that one in particular is on Chrome, but it's going to look pretty similar for essentially every website that you have. Let's see, one second. Oh, I have to share my screen here. Okay. Oops. Okay, so let's look up Montclair Public Library. So if we do this, right, and then we click news, instead of seeing just the website, we're going to only get news articles about the Montclair Public Library. All right, if we want to get a picture of the Montclair Public Library because you want to show what it looks like to someone, you click images, and you'll get only pictures, and so on and so forth. And sometimes if it's relevant, you want to click shopping, you know, if there was something you wanted to buy. Sorry, my phone is ringing in the background. You could do that. Now with Montclair Public Library, it's not as applicable, but with something else, it might be. If you were to search, let's say, Cartier, you might want to learn more about the watch company, or you might want to actually buy a watch, in which case you might want to go to the shopping tab. And you can see that there's other tabs here. So that's the very most basic thing. You might have already known that, in which case I want to show you some other tools that you can use to narrow down your search. So let's say you're looking for an article about the Montclair Public Library, and you want to find an article from August of last year that you know was published in August of last year. So what you can do is you can go right here to tools. So you can see it's right, you have the search bar, it's up here. Underneath the search bar is going to be your categories. And then right to the right of that is going to be this two things, tools and settings. And if you have a PC, or if you're not on Chrome, it might look a little bit different, but it will be there still. All of the browsers have it right here. And you can click tools, and you can go then underneath that, and you see where it says recent. That's what your computer naturally chooses, but you can change it. And let's say you only want to do something from the past 24 hours, you can click that. But if you want to actually say not just the past month or the past year, but something specific, you can click here. And that's custom range. And then if you click there, you can see, okay, well, you were looking for an article from August of this year. So you can just actually even just look in your calendar here, bring it back all the way back to August. And you can make your range from August 1st to August 31st. So I just clicked 1st to August 31st, right? Go. Okay, now I'm only gonna see articles published about the Montclair Library from that specific month. So that allows you to really narrow down your search. And if you're doing some sort of research, or if you're doing some sort of academic project, this is especially helpful. But for any time, I use this a lot just to find things that I'm looking for. Now, the other thing you can do here is you go to tools, go back to tools, we're gonna clear, just click clear, and that'll bring me back to all of the articles. The other thing we can do is we can go sort by relevance. So, or sorry, we can go to settings, apologize. And if you go to settings, you can even do some more things here. So you can change the languages that come up. And you can hide results that might be not appropriate, or that you don't want to come up. So if sometimes there's something where maybe you're looking for something and something else is coming up and it's totally off, this is a good way to do it, is to sort of narrow it down. The other thing I want to just say really quickly, I'm going to go back to my presentation here, is that, so you can see anytime, right, when we go to tools, settings, now I'm getting confused. See, I get confused too. So let's see here. Anytime, results, all results. Here we are. So let's just see this really fast. Okay, we have to go to all. That's what was wrong. All right, so now we're going to go to tools here. I just want to show you one more thing in terms of this advanced search. I'm going back to this tools thing. And remember, when I click tools, these two things are going to come up here. So you can see anytime is what we clicked to change the custom time range. If we go to all results, this is something really cool, because sometimes you look something up and something totally different is coming up, right? Maybe you look up, I don't know, French fries, okay, and whatever comes up, it has to do with France or something like that. I mean, probably you'll have better luck with French fries. But the point is that sometimes that does happen where you're not getting what you're looking for. And usually the best way to deal with that is to change from all results, which you can see here is right next to the time button, and change it to verbatim. And what verbatim means is that it will not show you any results unless they include exactly what you've put in the search bar. So that is a way to make sure that you are only getting the results that exactly have to do with what you're looking for. Now, be aware that you want to be specific with what you put in the search bar then, because it'll narrow down your searches a lot. But that's also a really good tool to use. So these are few things that you can do for an advanced search. You can get even more advanced than this if you wanted to. I'm not going to go too far into the more advanced tools, but just so you know, if you're doing an academic project, I'll just show you really quickly, and you wanted to narrow things down by copyright or even by kind of file, like let's say you're looking for a PowerPoint or an Excel file as opposed to a website, you can actually change that too. And I'll just show you really quickly how to do that. So let's see, go to settings here and you go to advanced search. So settings is right next to tools underneath the search bar. If you click advanced search, you're going to get a whole host of other options. So you can see, you can change the region that you're looking in. You can change the language. You can change the safe search. So if you want to make sure that you're only getting PG results, you can make sure that you're only getting PG results. And this is actually something really cool, is you can change the file type. So you can see if you're only looking for Microsoft Excel or Microsoft PowerPoint, those are things that are on the internet too, and you can change that you're not getting websites and instead you're getting that. All right, I'm going to stop now. I see that there are some questions. I'm happy to take questions now. And then we'll move on to the next module. But first, let's see. Let me go back here for just a second. I'll stop sharing. Donna, looks like you have a question. Yes.
Done mute. Oh shoot, I lost you. I'm out. Oh.
No, I can hear you.
All right, I lost the picture. My question was that, so can you do the tools and the other things before you put in an original search? Like you put in Montclair first, Montclair Library. What if I didn't put anything in? Would I see the tools and that second row or no?
Yes. So let's go back and let's open it up for a new.
I have to find my picture.
So you can see here, right? That's a great question. Right here, if I'm in just the Google search, right? Then I can see, for example, let's say I type in Montclair Public Library, which is what I just typed in, right? Then I'm going to get to this page where I have the options to change. So to answer your question, you need to put something in the bar first and then change your tools. It doesn't, I mean, it's just basically because otherwise it's not going to have anything to narrow down. So it's just a matter of order. You search what you want and then you go, okay, now I only want news. Now I only want news from August 2020, so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions about this specific tool?
Yes, I have a question. This is Jeffrey. Can you use like quotation marks around the phrase you're searching for to make sure that it's that whole phrase and not weird, other kind of parts of it or whatever? And can you do something like this or that, or this and that in the search bar? Or do you have to do that all in the advanced thing that you fill out?
That's a fantastic question. I love that you asked that because you are absolutely right. That is actually another way of coding for the exact same thing. So I teach this way. I think sometimes for someone with a mind like mine, it's sometimes easier to remember the buttons, but you're absolutely right that you can actually just put something in quotations and it's going to do the same thing as clicking that verbatim button. That verbatim button, remember when we go to tools and then we go to all results to verbatim, it's going to do the same thing as putting it in quotation marks. And you're right. So if we can, I believe it's, I have to, I remember from my technology classes because I always just do the other way, but I think you're right that if you do and, or, and then you put the other thing in quotations, that will give you I don't know if or is a command, but definitely and is a command. So that is also work, and they're equivalent. To answer your question, Jeffrey, is it Jeffrey? Did I get that right? Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Do you, it used to be, I remember in the olden days, you had to have a period before and after the or to make it like be a function and not the word or. Maybe that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I think if you have, let's see. Oh, that's your name.
Don't look for me, please. God knows what would come up.
Let's see, we could do or Bloomfield Public Library. So let's see how that works. And I can actually look this up as well. So I think you're right. I think it's not gonna, the or command, it's actually, I think it's gonna be a slash, but let me look it up because the truth is that I have to take a refresher on this as well. But the point that you're making is absolutely right. And I can also put this in our next class. Let me just look really quickly.
How do you look it up so we know how to look it up?
Yeah, that's a great way of doing this, actually. Thank you for asking me that. All right, let's try that. I'm gonna go to Chrome. So what I would do if I wanted to answer Jeffrey's question and I didn't know the answer myself, because I don't know these commands, right? I would go to how to type, I could ask how to use symbols to narrow down Google search. Okay. So here's 9 tips and tricks to improve your Google search efficiency. Now for this sort of thing where I'm doing a how-to, I don't necessarily need to narrow it down, right? Because I don't need it to be from a certain day, from a certain month. So in this case, let's just see, we can see together, right? So let's see. This is sort of interesting. You can do, let's actually look at this together. This is a great way of doing this. So one thing you can do, this is true if you use this slash, right? URL / search bar as an instant dictionary, right? So you can, like, let's say I wanted to know what, I don't know, rapid meant, I don't know. Okay, and then I can, if you wanted to do that, wait, let's, so it's currently on there. Maybe we'll skip that one. Okay, this one is interesting. Let's say you wanted to do a site, right? And then you wanted to look something up specifically on that site. So like, let's do a site, let's say New York Times, okay. And then let's say I wanted to look up, sorry, I would have to do the website, so that would be nyt.com. And then let's see, I would want to look up an article about Russia. So now look at this. I'm only getting results from the New York Times. It's only going to give me results from the New York Times about Russia. So that's actually another great way of narrowing your search, is if you do, this is actually, we're getting into coding. This is sort of more advanced stuff. I mean, you're telling it what to do by coding here in the search bar. So when you do site, and then you can see there's a colon there, nyt.com, and then you do a space of whatever you're looking for, that'll help you also narrow it down by the site that you're looking at. So there's all sorts of things you can do like that. I'll search and see if you have also, we did that. There's Jeffrey, there's the quotations that Jeffrey was talking about. So anyways, there's lots of ways to do it. The most simple way, the way that doesn't require sort of much memorization, is through the buttons, but yeah, you can absolutely type things in as well. I see that we have another question from, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember your name, or maybe your hand is just still up from prior. Let me go back.
Donna.
Oh yeah, sorry, I don't have access to the names, so I'm sharing. Apologize for that. You're muted. I'll ask you to unmute. Oh, you're muted.
I didn't have a question. My hand was just still up.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions that we have here?
I have a silly question.
No such thing.
What's the difference between Google and Google Chrome?
Oh, that's a great question. So Google is the browser. You can access Google on any, it's a search engine rather. So you can access the search engine on any browser. That means that you can go on a browser like Firefox or like in the case of Apple Safari, or in the case of the PC Edge. Those are all just applications, you know, like the thing you download on your phone, ways to access the internet. But the search engine, in other words, the repository of information that you're looking through when you type something into the search bar, doesn't depend on the application. And that's what Google is the search engine. So long story short, Chrome is just the application made by Google, and it happens to also run Google, the search engine. But the reason there's anyway, so you go on Google Chrome and you can access Google, but Google itself is not only accessible through Google Chrome. To answer your question.
So if I just only use Google, is that going to limit me on something, since I hear you using Google Chrome a lot?
So that's a great question. No, it's not going to limit you per se. The reason I would suggest I think Chrome is a good application is because the sorts of tools that you have to filter through the information that you have, and the sorts of ways of accessing the information do change from application to application, depending on which company is behind it. So Google Chrome is has a pretty good user interface. It's not so difficult to navigate. But in general, as long as you're on Google, you're going to find the same things. It doesn't matter what you're using. Now, for who is, can you just say your name when you, because I'm having trouble seeing who's asking.
Yeah, I'm Ricky.
Hi, Ricky. Yes. So, Ricky, does your browser look different from my browser?
It seems like you have more function bars up there, or bars underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yes, yours look more complicated.
Mine looks a little more complicated than yours. Well, one thing is, you look here, right? When I open a new tab, this has like a fancy background and everything, but this is just Google. This is Google here. And I can just type in something in Google, and it's not going to have any of those fancy options underneath. I'm only going to get those once I type something in. If I type in again, Montclair Public Library, then at that point, I get these options, right? So again, your browser might not look like this. And actually, this is one skill where I'm just showing it on Chrome because it looks very similar throughout. But for all the other skills, I'm going to show you a few different browsers. And if you're still not seeing something that looks like your computer, let me know. And then you can also let one of the volunteers know after the class. This is one tricky thing about teaching on Zoom for the browsers, is that it is true that they are a little bit different. So it's hard for me to know exactly what your screen looks like, but we'll go through a few different examples. So we're going to move on, unless there's any other urgent questions, to the second skill, which is changing your homepage. So basically, changing your homepage, what is a homepage, first off? Okay, well, when you go to your web browser, what's the first thing you see? For most people, it's going to look like one of these screens. This is an Apple homepage. This is just your regular Google. You might have Yahoo. You might have Bing. So all these are different homepages. In other words, when you click that thing that opens the internet, this is what you'll see. But let's say, the thing about this, and this is something recent, is that you don't need to have any of these as your homepage. And the reason for that is that you can see that the tops of these pages, every one of these has this little bar here, right, at the top. So you can access the internet through typing something into that bar and pressing enter, and you'll be able to do a Google search. So that means that you don't actually need to have Google as the first page that opens up. And you might want to change your homepage because, well, you might use your computer for one thing in particular. Let's say you really prefer to use your computer just for going on Facebook, or maybe you use it really just to go on your email, or maybe just to check and read the New York Times or the Patch, or whatever it is that you like to read in the mornings.
Or how about the Schedulers Plus homepage that gets people to the classes here?
Yes, exactly. Or that might be the thing that you use your computer to access. So all of those things could be good if you use them every time you open your computer. Well, why not just make them the first thing that comes up when you open your internet app, when you open your browser? So I'm going to show you how to change that and how you can do that if you want to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do this. To answer your question that was asked before, I think by Ricky, is our browsers look a little bit different. These are the 3 most popular browsers: Chrome, which is a general application that you can have on a PC or Mac; Edge, which is specific to PCs; and then Safari, which is specific to Macs. And it's not going to be so different from one to another, but there'll be little small differences, and I'll walk you through them. First off, we're going to start with Chrome, which is the one that we were using before. So if you have Chrome, changing your homepage is pretty easy. Let's say I wanted to go and I'm just going to stick with the Montclair Public Library here. Let's say I love going on the Montclair Public Library website and I want to make that my homepage. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back and show you. I'm going to go to your preferences, and you can see up here, I'm on a Mac, but you'll have this on a PC as well. You're going to have something that's going to say the application that you're using, and it's going to let you change certain things about the application. So if you go to preferences here for Chrome, so I'm going up to Chrome, clicking Chrome, and then I'm going to my settings, okay? Once I go to settings, I can go and I can click this item here, default browser. And I have this all written out on the PowerPoint, so when I send it to you, you'll have these notes as well. You don't have to memorize this right now, but just if you watch and say, I'll click default browser. Okay, now normally, if I want to create a different homepage, what I'll do is I'm going to change my browser from, it's going to be open the new tab page. That's what it's going to say. I'm going to change it to open a specific page or a set of pages. Okay, so once I change it, look at, it's going to be like this when you first do it, because you're going to just have the regular setting. And I'm going to change it to open a specific page. Then I'm going to click add a new page, or since I actually already have the Montclair Public Library tab open, I can click use current pages. Now it's going to show me the tabs I have open, and I'm going to tell my computer that I want the Montclair Public Library to be the page that is used as my startup page. So let's see. Oh, I don't want all of these pages. Well, actually, I'll just do it this way. That way I don't have to do that. So open a specific page, add a new page. I'm going to go to the Montclair Public Library. It's montclairlibrary.org. So I'm just going to type in that URL. Oops. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the rest of this. Sorry. I did this before as I was preparing for the class, so it won't be so difficult when you guys do it, because you'll have a, you won't look like this. But here, so you have the Montclair Public Library here. And now, look, when I open up my Chrome app, wait 1 second. Okay, we'll go here. So I'll just show you guys in here, and then I'll show you how to do it on the computer. So when you open up your Chrome app, after you do that, after you add a new page, you can see. Oops, sorry. You'll then be able to change that to your home page. So here, the Montclair Public Library, open a specific page on startup. Okay, then you're gonna change that. Okay, and then you go and exit out. I have to open the app again is the thing, because I'm in the app. Technology is hard, guys. I would know. Okay, and I'm teaching this class. All right, so the home page here. Let me see why this isn't working actually now. Go to my preferences. So I go to default browser. I can also go to search engine, and I can say, open a specific page. And now, let's see what the problem is. Why isn't this working? Okay.
Don't you have to like exit out of that Chrome and start it up new? So
yeah, I think you're probably right. I'm hesitant to exit out because I have my presentation in here. That's the thing. Let's do this on Safari, and I'll be able to show better, because this is the problem with teaching technology well on technology, is that there's certain things that are harder to do. Okay, thank you very much. Though that was Jeffrey, right? Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, so this is a Facebook page, but I'm gonna go just to my settings here. Let's say I use Facebook a lot, which I do. So we can do that. And I'm sure a lot of you do too. So for Safari, we're going to do something similar. We're going to go to our preferences. And we're going to go here. Look, you can see this is a different browser. It's going to look a little bit different, right? So instead of going to what we had before, which is our default browser, we're going to click here. I'll just go back on my presentation so you can see for just a second. We're going to click here on General. So you can go General here. And you can see now we're going to be, Safari's not your default browser, okay? That your default browser means whatever browser you opens when you click a link, just so you know what a default browser is. But Safari opens with a new window, okay? That's what we want. We want it to open with a new window. And now we want to change our homepage. So right now our homepage is google.com. I want to make our, yes, please.
Are you on the page that says how to change your homepage?
Exactly. So I'm trying to change my homepage. So here I'm on Safari, which is the Apple thing, but I'm just trying to show you on something that doesn't have my
the display didn't really change. I think you have a kind of delay because we're still seeing the old stuff.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Let me share again. Thank you so much for telling me that. Okay, here you are. So now we're on Facebook. So look what I'm going to start over. I apologize for that. So I'm going to Safari up here. And I'm going to click Preferences, just like I did with Chrome. I click Safari, and then I click Preferences. When I get to Preferences, and this is what it looks like on my Mac. It might look a little different on your PC, but you're going to have these same general options. You're going to click General, and then you're going to click Homepage. See where it says Homepage, and there's a link. Right now, the link is google.com. That means when you open up Safari, it's going to go right there.
No, Sophie, we're seeing your Facebook page. We're not seeing the. Yeah, there's a.
You know what? Yeah. I think the reason that that's happening is because the way that Zoom works. I'm so sorry. Yeah. The way that Zoom works is that it doesn't show you that sort of thing, and I didn't realize that until now. That's okay though, because I prepared by taking screenshots, so I'll show you with the screenshots. I apologize for that. Okay, so let's just look at this like this. So you go to Safari. Here you are. You open up and you're at Google, right? So
Sophie, you have to share your screen.
Okay, all right. This is good. This is good. This is how you know that you're not alone in your technology struggles. Okay, so can you see it now? Thumbs up.
How to change your homepage.
Yes, good. All right, good. So let me show you how to do it here, and that's how we'll do it. Thank God I prepared this. That way we don't need to even share our screen. So we have the Google homepage right here. Now you're going to go up and you're going to just click Preferences, okay? So you're going to go up, click the name of the application, Preferences. Okay. Once you get to Preferences, you're going to go to your General tab of Preferences, okay? General tab. So here, you can see that this person has their homepage set so that when they open up this app, the Safari app, when they open that up, it's going to go to apple.com. But let's say they wanted to go to facebook.com instead, let's say. Or maybe they wanted to go to google.com. So if they wanted to change to open up to Google instead of to Apple, which it currently is, they're going to type in www.google.com or just google.com into this space right here. Okay. Then once you do that, you just have to go over here and you're going to change this setting right here. So it's going to say new Windows open with, and you need to make sure that you're actually opening with your homepage. So here you have to change, here it's favorites, you change it, clicking that, and you're going to make sure that it opens to your homepage. Once you do that, once you've changed the settings so that not only is your homepage google.com in this case, but also you're opening it up with your homepage, you're opening up the browser with the homepage, then every time you click on the Safari application, you're going to go to google.com. But the point of this isn't just that you can get to google.com, which there's no really point in making that your homepage anyways. It's better to make a homepage something that you always go to, maybe a website that you're always using. So it could be Facebook or it could be your email. And the only difference between that and this is just that you type that URL into this box right here. So you type www.gmail.com or you type www.facebook.com or you type Montclair Public Library, or in this case, montclairlibrary.org. So that'll help you ensure that you don't have to do that extra step of searching something that you're always using. It'll just cut down on that extra step, and it'll make it a more streamlined experience. And you can see, I'm just going to show you for you PC people. I know we have lots of folks with PCs, so I also borrowed a friend's PC and tried to take some examples from that as well. So here you can see this is Edge. This is the browser that you probably might have on some of your PCs if you're not using Chrome or Firefox. And you can see here it's the same thing. Sometimes it'll be these two dots right here. So you can go to these two dots and you can press Settings. Oftentimes on a PC, you're going to see these three dots. Just like that, if you click it, you're going to get the scroll down menu and you'll see Settings. You just want to get to Settings. That's where it's going to be for all of these browsers. And in this case, once you go to Settings, you can click Appearance. And then you'll get to see Show Home button over here. And you can change from New Tab Page. It'll be New Tab Page. You can click instead, make it Customized Homepage. That could be Facebook, or that could be Google, or that could be Gmail, whatever you'd like, New York Times. And then here, you just put it in, and then you just press Save. And that's how you would do it on Edge. So you can see there's a lot of similarities between these processes. The stuff looks different, but you're doing the same thing. You're customizing the home screen. Okay, is there any questions? We have 15 minutes. I want to get through a few more things. I'm so sorry that had a few getting used to the Zoom format here. But is there any questions we want to ask quickly about the homepage stuff?
There's a question, can you change cursor shape and size?
Can you change cursor shape and size? Yeah, that's a great question. So that's actually something that you wouldn't do in your browser. That's something that you would do in the settings of your computers. And all computers, almost all computers, PCs and Macs, have accessibility settings. And accessibility settings allow you to change the size of the font on your computer. If you're constantly squinting, you can make the font bigger. You can also change the size of your mouse and things like that. And actually, I think that's a great idea to do a class just on accessibility. I don't want to get too much into that right now because it's a little bit beyond the scope of the browser topic that we're doing today. But thank you for asking that question, because I will do a class specifically on how to just make your computer more accessible if you're hard of hearing or if you have difficulty with eyesight as well. Okay, so is there any other question, Michelle?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. No. All right, we're gonna go now to bookmarking a tab. I appreciate your patience here. We'll get through now to this skill, which is really a great thing to do. And I remember when we were going around at first to talk about what people were interested in learning, someone said they wanted to know, for example, how to put different things together. Like maybe if you have a lot of recipes that you really like, you want to make sure that you can find them right away. And this is a great thing to do with bookmarking. So you could bookmark a recipe or a news article or a picture, whatever sort of thing you want to be able to have really easy access to. I'm going to show you how to do it. Again, it's going to change a little bit based on your browser. And again, this is not going to be the same for all of our classes, just our browser class in particular. It's going to be a little different depending on what kind of computer you have, but in general, it'll look somewhat similar. So on Safari, you can go on Safari, and that's the Mac browser. So that's the browser you're going to use to access the internet if you have a Mac, and I'll just show you right now. And we can go on this chicken soup recipe here. Let's say you really like the best chicken soup you'll ever eat, and you really want to bookmark it. So to do that, it's very easy. You can just go down here to bookmark. So see, remember when we did our homepage and we clicked Safari and we went to preferences? This is the same thing, except this time we're going to click bookmarks. And if you have a piece, well, actually with Safari, you won't be on the PC, so I can address that after, but you're going to click bookmarks. There's actually just a tab, and you're just going to say add bookmark. There's only 3 steps here. It's, thank God, it's pretty easy to do. So you don't need to, get too into the weeds. Just go add bookmark, and then it'll input. You don't have to type this in. It'll input it immediately. You click add, you click right here. And then what you're gonna actually find is that it's going to be now at the top of your screen. So you're gonna actually find it when you go to your screen. I actually think I have a picture of that somewhere. Let me show you. So, okay, here it is. Look, so you can see it's going to be at the top of your screen here. So now you don't even have to search it. It's just going to be at the top of your screen. These are things that I've bookmarked. Best chicken noodle soup, you just click it and it'll be right there. So that's 3 steps, 3 easy steps. You go to bookmarks, you're going to go to settings, add bookmark, add. It's even easier on Chrome. And if you have Chrome, it's even easier. So I'll show, it's just super quick. You can do it the hard way, which is you can go bookmark tab, and you can see it's almost exactly the same as the process for Safari. But the other thing you can do, which is really easy, is just click the star. So in Chrome, you're gonna have a star, and I think you guys can even see it here. Let's say I wanted to bookmark this presentation because I wanted to access it later to send it to you guys. I just click that star, and it'll give me the option to add bookmark. And now, you can see I'm gonna click done. Now when I open up a new tab, look, it's right there. I don't have to type anything in or go and find it. I just click it and automatically now I can find it. So if you had all your recipes bookmarked, you wouldn't have to, it's like having a storage box at the very top of your browser. So that's not too difficult at all. And actually, it's even easier with a PC, you lucky PC people. You also have that same star. You just click that star and add, and then you can bookmark it. So that's a great way to make sure that you are able to keep track of things that are important to you, especially great for anything that you want to access more than once and you want to have easy access to. Any questions on bookmarking? We have one more skill left, but yes. I think that
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you make folders for your bookmarks, say on recipes? You wanted chicken, you wanted desserts, and you wanted it all under recipes.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes. Can you put bookmarks in a folder? So yes, so there's a few ways you can do this. You can bookmark things, right? You click bookmark. And then you can, oops. So you can click, wait, I need to undo what I just did. I apologize. That's okay. Anyways, yes, you can do that. So if you're interested in creating like a group of bookmarks, I'll show you. If you go to bookmarks here, you have to go into your setting to do that. It'll be a little bit different, but if you go to, you can see Bookmark Manager. This is in Chrome. There's something called your Bookmark Manager. And if you go to your Bookmark Manager, you can see all of your bookmarks. And then look at this here. There's folders. So here's your bookmarks bar. And then here's other bookmarks. And you can even create a folder. So if you wanted to create a new folder, this is on, see these 3 dots? And whenever you see 3 dots, that means that that's a menu. That means that if you click it, you're gonna have a lot of other options. So always, if you're trying to figure something out and you see 3 dots, it never hurts to click it and see what other options you have. Anyways, so here you can do add new folder. So look, I just went to, I'll just show you one more time how I got here. I went from bookmarks to Bookmark Manager, and that was in my preferences here. And I'm going to the 3 dots and I'm gonna do add new folder. Now let's say I wanna make a folder for recipes. Okay, so now I have this whole folder. Now look, here's my best chicken soup recipe. Look, I'm actually just gonna drag it into my recipe folder. Now it's not gonna show up on my bar as a chicken soup recipe, but it'll show up as a folder, right? So now let's say I wanna find, I don't know, a taco recipe. I don't know who needs a recipe for tacos. It's just, a taco shell and rice and beans, but maybe you need a recipe for tacos. And then you go and you click this, whatever you're interested in bookmarking. And then you're gonna bookmark this. Okay, I'm gonna bookmark it first so that it's gonna add here. It's gonna be in my bar. Give it a second. Sometimes my Wi-Fi, let's see if my Wi-Fi cooperates here. So I just bookmarked this. Okay. Now I can click edit bookmark. Oh, look, so I already put it in my recipes folder. So see that? So now I have the option. Now, every time I bookmark something, look, I can either put it in my bar or I can put it directly in the folder. So now, look, if I want to bookmark anything, I just go, automatically fills in the name, and I just put it right in my folder. And remember, if you want to make a new folder, you just go to the bookmark management and you click the 3 dots and you click make a new folder and you can name whatever you'd like. So that's, I'm so glad you asked that. Yes.
My name's Jim Ritter. If the thing seems to be getting too cluttered and there are things you don't want to remember that long, how do you delete them?
Oh, that's a great question too. Same way you make a folder. So if you go, see these 3 dots, remember we talked that that's the menu. Look, really easy, delete. I don't want this, delete. I don't want this. I don't want any of these things, delete. Okay, so you can just delete all these things.
Okay.
Right, delete. There's edit, delete, cut, copy. You have all these options, but you just click delete. The other thing you can do is you can just literally press delete on your keyboard. It's that easy.
What is the difference? What's the difference between a bookmark and favorites?
That's a good question too. There is really, so a bookmark is a tab that is not going to come up when it's gonna be in a specific place. So in this case of Chrome, it's gonna be at the top. Okay, and it might be in one of these folders where you can find it. Favorites are, I'll show you when I open this up. 1 second. Look, these are my favorites. In other words, these are websites that I use a lot. So a favorite is a website you use a lot. And a favorite, you're gonna be able to just click on it right away here. So actually they're very similar, except that your computer will sometimes create favorites for you, and they're just gonna be things that you use, websites that you go to a lot, and you'll be able to click on them and access them. But that's a great question. They're very similar. They actually have the same exact function. They pretty much have the same function.
My question is, if you at your friend's place on her computer and you want to get to your favorites, how do you do that?
That's a nice question. Unfortunately, well, you're not going to be able to get to your favorites on your friend's computer unless you're logged into your Google account. So that means that if you have a Gmail account or a Google Suite account, which is like Google Docs or Gmail, email stuff, in that case, once you do that, you can see there's my S because my name is Sophie. So I'm logged into my account. In that case, you might actually be able to access you will be able to access your bookmarks and your favorites, but you have to log into your account. And if you're just using your friend's internet and you're not logged into your Google account, you won't be able to access those things.
So your presentation that you prepared today, do you have it saved on your hard computer or is it on the internet somewhere?
So I'll just say really quickly. So my presentation today, and we're going to actually have a whole class on this, but my presentation today is on Google Suites, which is Google. It's a Google program. So that means I can access it from any computer as long as I'm logged into my Google Drive. So I'm going to have a class. I'm going to show you how to use actually all of the free applications that Google offers that are really great. But for now, I just want to finish this stuff with the browser because I have one more skill that I want to get through. And we just have 5 more minutes. So I just want to talk really quickly about navigating web history because this is something that can be really useful, especially if you just accessed the site yesterday and now you can't find it and you're looking all over for it and you might want to check your history, and I'll show you how to do that. It's very easy. It's almost exactly the same whether you have a Mac or a PC, so that's nice too. I'll show you right now. So right here you can see for Chrome, it's up here. You just click history. You can go down here if you want to do show full history. So I'll just show you how I do that again. I went up to this bar, right? That's my settings bar, and you can find that on a PC too if you go to settings. Go to history, show full history. And now I have the option to search my history. So like I know that yesterday I was reading, I was reading about the poisoning of Alexei Navalny, the Russian guy, because I was writing an article about it. So I can search his name if I wanted to find an article. And now I can see every single tab that I clicked and was looking at yesterday. And I can see the date that I accessed it about Navalny. So that way, if I lose a source, like let's say I'm writing something, someone asks me, well, where'd you get that information from? Well, I don't know. I can go back and actually see where I went and what websites I clicked on. So your computer keeps track of that. And you don't, that's a good way of checking to see things that you saw before that you now can't find. And I'll just show you really quickly. It's very similar for Safari. You just click history. If you're on a PC, it might look like this. See that time button? I'll make this bigger so everyone can see. Your history button might look like that if you have a PC. It's like a little clock. And if you click that button on your PC, you can see your history too. So it's pretty simple to see. It's not so difficult. And then if you click it, you can change the time. So you can see that's the last hour. You can maybe see the last day or even the last month. And it'll let you change the time. You can find all of those things. Now, the other thing that I'll just say really quickly is that your computer keeps track of every website that you go to. Maybe you don't want your computer to keep track of every website that you go to. There's lots of reasons you might not want that. For one thing, if you're concerned about privacy on the internet, sometimes it's good to clear your cookies, your cache. That just means the information that the computer is storing on you. Much less exciting than real cookies, in my opinion. Anyways, and then also thank you for I know my jokes are bad, but at least my teaching is okay. But anyways, you can clear your history too, and that's a good skill to have. Just so you know how to do that. If you want to get rid of a specific item or all of your history, I'll show you really quickly. So here you can see in Chrome, if you go to your history, there's going to be an option to clear browsing data, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Can you guys see my history can you see? You can see this, right? My tab?
Yes.
Okay, so see right here on the side, this is Chrome, clear browsing data. If I click this, I can clear everything, every website I've ever been on. And that way I'm not going to get targeted ads. I'm not going to get, people are not going to know what websites I'm on. And that might be preferable if I'm concerned about my privacy. Let's say there's one thing, let's say I really don't want the internet to know that I was looking at ground beef tacos. I can delete that. And I just click my delete button on my keyboard. So it's very simple. You just click delete and then just select whatever you want to delete, remove. Now the internet does not know that I was looking at ground beef tacos. So these are all skills that you can use to make sure that you are in control of your privacy. And as we go along in this course, I'm going to show you other ways that you can make sure that you are in control of who is getting your information and for what. Because that's really an important part of the internet, is making sure there's so many people that want your data, and you should be able to control who gets your data. So that's just the first most easy way of doing it, is just knowing how to clear your history. And just a reminder, one more time, I'll just show. You're going to go to your settings. There'll always be a history button. And that history button is going to be for PC users. It's going to look like a little clock. And you'll click it, and then you can access your history and manage it. All right. I see there's a question about how you delete things on Facebook. Vivian, thank you for asking that question. We're going to have a whole class on Facebook. I'm going to show you how to do a lot of cool things that you might not have been able to do on Facebook or known how to do. So I will definitely cover that then. Prior to that, I know we're out of time, but I have a little bit of time. If anyone has any quick questions that they want to ask me about something that I covered prior, feel free if anyone has any questions.
There's a question in the chat. If you delete your history, does your bookmarks also disappear?
That's a great question too. So no, they don't. You have to delete your bookmarks separately. Your bookmarks and your history are different. Your history is automatically stored by your computer every time you use the internet. Your computer is always keeping track of where you're going. But your bookmarks are things that you put there, and you can delete your bookmarks by going to your settings. Okay. Just like I showed you before, you just click those 3 dots and you press delete. Or you can also just use your keyboard and just highlight it and delete. But yeah, they're different things. Is there any other question in this chat? Let's see.
I have another question. This is Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey.
It's kind of silly, but I have so many tabs open on my browser because the things that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, that when it's like exceeded the amount of tabs that it shows me. And so like I can open a new one, but then I can't find, I don't see the other ones. They're kind of hidden. Is there some secret thing you hit to see all the hidden tabs or whatever?
Yeah, here's what I would suggest. I was just closing your tabs. And I know that what I would say instead is bookmark them. Use the skill of bookmarking. Just whatever browser.
My bookmarks are I have so many of those now. I can't, they're totally.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, here's what I would do then. I would organize it. Just like if you have a desk, you know, if you have a desk and you have a million papers on it, what do you have to do? You have to put them in folders, you organize them. So do the same thing with your computer. Think of it just like a virtual desk. If you have a million things and you can't see it, it's not even useful anymore, right? So if some of them are recipes, put all the recipes together. Some of them are news articles, or if you're doing different projects and they're different things, bookmark them. And the good thing about bookmarks is that they're not going to slow your computer down. You can have a whole bunch of bookmarks and it's not going to slow your computer down. But if you have a whole bunch of tabs open, it will slow your computer down. It'll make it your internet much slower as well, because you have all of those things running in the background. So I would definitely recommend, and I'm guilty of this, very guilty of this, but I often have things that I want to read, but I don't have time, and I have them open for days, and it's just not a good habit. You want to just bookmark them so you can access them later, but you don't want them running in the background because they will slow your computer down.
Okay, I will try to get organized. But new stuff keeps coming that I have to look at, so it's hard to find the time to organize the old stuff.
Marie Claire? You're okay, you're in the room. Okay, Declan?
Hello.
Sorry.
Was there a question from Declan, or was that?
For me.
I have another comment about something that I learned from a Montclair librarian a couple of years ago. I was trying to find like a scholarly article, and they found the link for it, but it was something you needed a subscription to see that the library did not have. But they searched for it and put PDF after what we were searching for. And someone had already made a PDF of that article. So if you're looking for something kind of obscure and you can't access it, try looking for it as a PDF, and someone may have posted it already. It was very helpful.
Yes, that's a great point. And that's also to your point that you made before about putting things in quotations. All of the skills that I showed you that had to do with going to checking those boxes, because you can look for PDF as well if you go to the advanced search function that I showed you. Those are things that you can also do actually just code for, which is what Jeffrey's talking about. You're exactly right. You can just write certain things. The only thing with that is that the syntax is really important, as in all coding. So if you're not sure, you'll be able to remember sort of like whether there's a period or whether the quotations go before or after, you know, or whatever, then sometimes it's easier to use the functions, sort of the user-friendly buttons. But yeah, absolutely, you can definitely just put PDF, and that's equally as effective.
Did you see? So there was another question. I don't know if you got to Jennifer's full question. Did you get to the bottom of that about putting things in order?
Oh, putting things in order. Yeah, let's take a look at that again. So you know, I've never tried to do that, but we can see right now. If we go to our bookmarks, and I'll just show you again how I'm doing it. I'm going up to the bar. If you're going to the settings bar, you might have that in your PC. Go to your Bookmark Manager. Now, I can sort of, I guess, organize it like this. So I can put them in the order that I want. I don't think that there's a function to do it in terms of alphabetical order, but you can change the order that they come up. So if you have a recipe that you use all the time, you can just put it at the top. Like, let's say I make chicken soup way more than I make ground beef tacos. Maybe I'll put that at the top. I don't know of any way to do it by alphabetical order. But
you just move it up. You just shift it up.
Yeah, look, what I'm doing, and it's hard to show because I'm on the computer, but what I'm doing, I'm just clicking my mouse and I'm just moving it.
Moving it, okay.
So you can just change the order like that. And then, you know, if it's getting messy, just make another folder. How do I make another folder? I go here, add new folder. And I can make another folder. Now I want to, you know, if you want to say A recipes, like, you know, if you want to organize them alphabetically, putting the recipes that start with A, you could, put your, recipes that start with A in there. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I think we do have some people that are definitely here to help out with any other questions you might have. I want to say this is my first time teaching a class to you all, so I really appreciate your patience, and I hope that if you have something that you're interested in, you'll come back. I also just want to say, just really quickly, so you know what's coming up. Next week, we're going to talk about email skills. I remember one of you that got the chance to introduce yourself told me that you wanted to learn more about sending things and emails. We're going to learn about that, getting off all those spam lists that you get on, and all that sort of thing. So we'll do that as well. So anyways, feel free to come back. We'll be here next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. on the dot.